To teach bunny hop, you'll need a non-slip surface. If you don't have carpet, you could practice on a rug, a mat, or a non-slip blanket. You'll need some meaty treats that your ferret loves. Choose something that can be broken into small pieces. With Ram, I mostly used raw turkey mince, which is his favourite because it can be broken into various sizes. Ferrets can be fussy about foods. Often finding something that your ferret likes is the hardest part of training. You could try boiled chicken, cooked or raw mince, lamb, beef, rabbit, freeze-dried meats, or a favourite dry ferret food. Never give fruit, vegetables, or anything sugary, not even a small amount. A clicker can really help with timing. Click the exact second that you see the ferret do what you want, and then always follow up with a treat. Before you start, it can help to practice giving your ferret a treat for standing in front of you on the mat or the blanket. Ferrets often like to go somewhere else to eat their treats, but if they're good at coming back to you, it can take a little bit less time. The first step is to teach your ferret to stand on their back legs. For this, hold a treat just above them and click and treat as they stand up. Only click and treat while your ferret is still standing up. If they fall down, wait for them to stand up again and then treat that. This takes practice as you're building muscles that the ferret wouldn't normally use. It can take different ferrets different amounts of time. It took Ram quite a long time, but he is quite a long ferret, so it's probably quite hard for him to hold himself up. With practice, your ferret will learn to balance using their tail and their arms. The next step is to get your ferret to move forward whilst they're standing on their back legs. For this, bring the treat a little bit closer to them so it's just out of their reach. If they stretch their back legs at all to try and reach, click and treat this. The idea is to click any movement at all, as long as they're moving their back paws in any way. That is good enough at this stage. Once your ferret is consistently moving forward on their back legs, we can focus on teaching them to hop forward instead of step forward. This is just trial and error. You can try holding your hand in different positions to see if you can encourage the ferret to jump. When they do jump, click and treat this. And once they have tried jumping a few times, we can switch to only treating when they jump forward and not when they step forward. You can see here that Ram has got the idea that jumping is a good way of getting a click and treat. He has lots of enthusiasm at this stage, but not too much balance. But we don't need to worry about that. We can work on that next. Once the ferret is jumping fairly consistently, we can then work on balance. Hold your hand in a way where the ferret can't grab onto it with its front paws. If they can grab your hand with their front paws, they have no reason to try and stand up themselves. Don't worry if some of the jumps aren't quite as enthusiastic or as big as some of the jumps when you weren't focusing on balance, because we want to just focus on one thing at a time. We can also start to focus on the landing. So you can see that Ram is jumping and then landing on four paws and then standing back up after. If they do this, just wait for them to stand back up before you click and treat. These are new motor skills, and so it can take time to learn them. It must be a little bit like trying to learn to dance or trying to learn gymnastics or any new motor skill for us. Even if it looks like it's easy, then it can actually take quite a lot of practice to learn to do it properly. It helps to do this in very short sessions because the ferret is using muscles that they maybe haven't used very much before, so it can be quite tiring for them. Once your ferret can bunny hop, we can add a cue to let them know when to do it. This could be a word that you say, or it can be that you hold your hand in a particular position. This is important to prevent the ferret from becoming frustrated or confused over when to do it and when not to. To add your cue, say or do it just before the ferret does a bunny hop. Once you have added a cue, only treat when you've asked the ferret to bunny hop and not when they just do it anyway.